This is another episode of my Getting Married Multiculturally podcast. It is my birthday week. I'm getting pretty close to 40. It's really bad to even think about it. I really don't like talking about myself, but as I'm getting older and I have more and more experiences in my life, and I talk to people, I feel like they are really interested about my journeys. When I think about my age and that I'm going to be 1 year older, what gives me the most anxiety and stress is that feeling that I am not where I am in my life in this stage, or where I should be the way society expects you to be, especially from living in a culture that is very competitive and very fast paced. We like to kind of put labels on things instead of accepting that everybody is different in their own way. There are so many things that society expects us to do and have in a certain level of our life. Buying the house, or getting a promotion, or how much money you're making, what kind of car do you have, how many kids do you have, when did you get married. I need to be okay with the order things are happening in my life, because everything has a reason. That's how I'm here now creating this podcast, because I had all of these things happening in my life, and I feel like now I can give you guys something, because there were a lot of things that I haven't thought about when I was younger, and then when I was getting into a relationship with a person from a different culture. I didn't think about any of this. You, as a multicultural person, or as somebody who's moving to a different country, and I know that not everybody, not all of you guys listening in a multicultural relationship actually had to leave their home and leave their country and their culture and their friends and families like I did. So I'm sorry if I talk about that more often, but that's just kind of what resonates with me the most. So what I'm trying to say, that I think many of us, no matter how old you are, have this feeling in some point of your life where you are not where you want to be, marriage-wise, baby-wise. You decided when you want to have children and it's not happening. You decided how old you want to be when you want to get married and it didn't happen. All of these goals in your life, buy a house, buy a car, all of these things in your life didn't happen yet. And when they happen, you think that you are way too behind than other people, especially us who had to start over our life many times. I did that 4 times in my life. I did it first. I did it with my family when I was 10. We moved to a different country. We started our life all over again, in a place where we didn't know anything and anybody. And then I started my life again in Italy when I was 25. Again, not knowing anybody, not knowing the city. When I met my husband, I moved again to a new country, start over all over again. And now 4 years ago, we moved with my own family, with my kids and my husband. We moved here to Phoenix, Arizona. Be okay with our own self and be okay that things are gonna be different for us. I kind of had this excuse that it didn't happen because I had babies, or it didn't happen because I had to move to a place where I don't know anybody, or it happened because my marriage was in a really bad place. And actually embrace it and enjoy it, and see the benefits of it instead of the negative things that are holding us back because of for example, moving so many times. I'm sure that a lot of people are jealous of us, or admire our bravery that we were able to move somewhere, or we learned a new language, or we want to live our whole life with somebody who has a different language, a different culture than us. The bravery that we want to live in a new country that's completely strange for us. Instead of feeling bad that there are some things we couldn't achieve in our life because of all of these changes, we should be proud of it. I got married very, very fast, and I wish I wouldn't, because I wish I would have had more time to explore and to get to know the man I chose for my life, and then that we could have slowly evolve and mature our relationship into a marriage. I wish I wouldn't have kids so soon, but it happened. If we would have had kids later, we would have had more time to spend with each other, my husband and I. I wish I would have started my business earlier, but I didn't, because I didn't really believe in myself that I could do that, especially in a place that I don't know. I don't know the rules, the law, the language. I didn't feel comfortable getting myself into this big responsibility. But beside all of this, that's what makes me me, and everything had a reason for it, and everything in my life happened for a reason. Getting married so soon forced us to grow up and mature our relationship faster, gave me a security to live with this person for forever, who wanted to commit himself to me. I feel lucky that I had kids so early, because now I have time to work on my passion and work on this business. I was able to stay home with both of my girls and raise them. Maybe if I would have started my career before I had kids, I would have never been able to give them that time of mine. So that's why I think that everything has a reason for it. We need to be more happy and more content of the things that are happening in our life and the things that we can have in our life, even materialistic things like homes or cars or any type of materialistic objects that makes us happy. My husband and I had a lot of difficult conversations about spending tons of money on traveling back to Europe to visit my family every year. And when we got married, that was one of my things that I wanted him to promise me, that I can go back and see my family. And that's a lot of money to go back to Hungary. And now we need to buy 4 airplane tickets because we have 2 kids. And so anyway, it's a lot of money to travel. Lots of people wait years to do that. And I know that there are lots of multicultural families and families who live in another country who haven't seen their parents, or kids who haven't seen their grandparents for years because they can't go back to visit. So I feel very, very lucky that we were able to do that, and that my husband was willing to give that for me. And it was definitely a big help when I was struggling with my loneliness here and my culture shock. First, we need to learn to be happy about our choices that we made. We need to accept our journey and the things that happen in our life that were not planned. See the meaning and the reason why everything is happening, and accept that, other people are gonna have different journeys, and that's okay. And respect those other people's too, and respect their decision. There are gonna be days when you're gonna feel like it's too much for you. Why didn't you just stay in your country and got married there, so life wouldn't be so complicated? If you decide to have kids or not to have kids, if you have kids already, if you decide to not get married yet, if you decide to not buy a house because you want to spend money on going back to visit your family, if you decide to build something bigger, build something that interests you, then do all of that, because it's going to make you happy. Your partner is going to be happy. Your kids are going to be happy. Your family will feel better. So yeah, I am freaking out about getting older, but I do think that we are gonna live longer than we think we do, and I am very, very excited for the next stage of my life, for the next stage of our family's life, and I feel like I've been climbing through this mountain for so long, and finally I am where I want to be. And I do feel like you need to have a certain personality to choose this lifestyle if you get to choose, because maybe you just kind of fall into this multicultural relationship without having any intention for it, like I did. Because once I moved away from my home, I knew that there's a really small chance that I'm gonna find somebody who is also Hungarian, just to be honest. But I never thought that I'm gonna move this far and find somebody who lives literally on the other side of the earth. Sometime we don't plan, sometime we do plan on having these relationships that we get into throughout our life. I was born in Yugoslavia, which was a country that had many, many different nationalities. I did grow up in diversity. I had friends who spoke Serbian, even relatives who had a different religion or a different culture. So I would say for me, from young age, that was kind of normal, but I never thought that I would have my own family so diverse too. But I wouldn't say that I was always proud of it. In Yugoslavia, we were, as a Hungarian family, we were a minority there. And then when we moved to Hungary, I felt a minority because I was a Hungarian who is from Serbia. And then I moved to Italy, where obviously I didn't speak Italian, but I learned pretty quickly. But I was always that foreign girl from Hungary, which was okay for me because yes, that's who I am. That's what I was. But I was kind of feeling that I would never get accepted, and I would never be in the same level like Italians in Italy. And then I moved to America with when I met my husband, and I had a lot of self-consciousness and a lot of shame that I am not American. When my first daughter was born, that's when there was a person in our household all of a sudden who I can speak to in with my own language in Hungarian, because before that I was only using English with my husband in public or at our house. So there was this little human who I can speak Hungarian to, and every time I would go to like restaurant or to the bank or we would go shopping, I would automatically switch to English because I didn't want people to look at me like, oh, what language is she speaking? Oh, like she's not American, or why is she here? Now I wish I wouldn't have give up on this so quickly, because now it just comes naturally to me that when we're in public, I switch to English with my kids, so we only speak in a house when literally nobody else can hear us. But I wish that I wouldn't be like that, to be honest. I think society and movies and all kinds of social media articles that you read and videos you see, even people who grew up in a country with families and parents that are from a different culture, that are immigrants maybe, they do have this self-consciousness inside of them, or this shame maybe, or they're trying to hide who they really are. So yeah, I had that too. But I am getting older. Let's wrap this up and get back to why I started this rambling. It is about getting older. It is about being okay with where we are in our life. I'm looking forward to my next year, my next 10 years. I'm so excited to see how else we're gonna develop our our family, where if we are maybe gonna move somewhere else or we gonna stay here in Arizona forever. I'm excited to see what the future holds us. And thank you so much for listening this episode. This was a little bit hard for me to talk about because there are some sensitive topics obviously that made me choke up, but I want to share this and I wanted to put this out there because for so long I was holding all of this back, and I'm glad that I was able to survive all of this, and now I can give it to those who are, in the same shoe like I am or just getting into it. So, anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Next week, I am going to be talking about I kind of want to continue this thought and this conversation that I'm having. I don't know why I always say conversation because I'm only talking here to the camera, which is really weird, by the way, because I feel like I don't get like a reaction back from anybody. Just this camera is staring back at me. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so next week I'm gonna kind of continue this thought about me moving to another country, immigrating, uh, going through the culture shock, and yeah, I don't know the title of it yet, but that's what I'm gonna be talking about. So until next time, bye bye and have a good day.